What's the worst mistake people don't realize they remaking in their 20s? Do not pick up smoking. I'm 41 and still smoke. I hate it, and I'm terribly addicted to cigarettes. Biggest mistake of my life was starting at 15. I used Chantix to quit last February. I am 39 and started when I was 15. Was up to 2 packs a day at one point. It's amazing how much difference a year smoke free makes. Life is not a race. It does not matter who is getting married, who is moved out from parents, who has a kid. You go at your pace. Do not think you're behind anyone else. I needed to hear this. Thank you. Savings. 401k whatever, just invest for yourself. I told my wife to sign up for when she started her first job since immigrating. It has been 6 years and she has got a nice little wad of money socked away. She has been telling her coworkers for the past 5 of those 6 years that they should sign up because the employer matches free money. Plus it earns more by compounded growth. They all say they do not want to. She shrugs and says okay. Genuinely blown away by how many people reject free money from 401k matching. Like, I'm pretty sure you could literally just pay the penalty and withdraw your contribution and the employer match immediately and still come out ahead. For those people who do not care about investing for the future. When I first got my first post-college job, I was amazed how few of my coworkers who have been working in the company for 5+ years are barely putting in any, if at all, on their 401k. Some of them are like 40+ year olds and have less than 5k in 401k. I was taken aback by that. Since then I made a promise to myself to be more proactive in saving investing. It is my biggest fear to live in a financial struggle once I'm old and near retiring. This comes under looking after your body, I suppose. But it is a specific one that is still little known. Wrecking your ears with excessive noise exposure. Even if you do not care about losing your hearing, you do not want catastrophic tinnitus. It is completely disabling. And nobody tells you that you can get it years or decades after the noise exposure. I just thought, I will knock this off before it gets too bad. Edit woke up to piles up upvotes. Cheers. I will probably never get a chance to write something about tinnitus which this many people will read again. So FWIW. Tinnitus is very common, everybody knows someone who has it to some degree, but it can range from a nuisance to a disability. And assuming that we understand someone else's situation can be like believing we understand severe chronic pain after stubbing a toe. Most people's tinnitus will not become disabling. Some people are profoundly deaf and have no problem with tinnitus. Others are crippled by tinnitus and have relatively normal hearing. Noise exposure is only one of many ways you can acquire tinnitus. I believe it was the root of my tinnitus, but it cannot explain it completely. But I do believe if I had not blasted myself with noise in my 20s I would not have this disability today, or it would have remained much milder. I'm reminded of that TV ad Yul Brynner recorded shortly before his death. His words, "Whatever you do, just do not smoke," have been stuck in my head for decades. Just turn down the volume. The level of sounds we subject ourselves to for recreation did not exist a few hundred years ago. Unless we were standing beside an erupting volcano, our ears are not designed for it. Tanning without sunscreen. That catches up with you when you least expect it. Not using sunscreen and being careless with my skin is one of my biggest regrets at 32. I smoked cigarettes, drank heavily, ate like shit, and didn't use sunscreen. In your 20s, you just bounce back with hardly any physical consequences and you feel like you're going to be young forever. All of a sudden, I woke up one day with wrinkles and skin damage that I can reverse and is only going to get worse from here on out. I'm still having a hard time accepting it, and it causes a lot of depression and regret in my current life. When I look at myself in the mirror, I feel this. I'm a 30 years old dude and have always tanned well and never burned, so I never thought of using sunscreen. I also spent most of my 20s drinking heavily and smoking, and like you said, just woke up one day thinking I was just tired and that my face would look better when I got more rest, but it has been a couple years and it is just getting worse. I'm also pretty upset that I was so careless with my body and health. I'm not aging well at this point. It is not too late to work on getting body in decent condition. Okay, you ducked up. Let it go and try improving yourself. Not saving enough money. Pay yourself first. Do not work the rest of your life. Don't save what's left after spending. Spend what's left after saving. That sounds very Ben Franklin-ish. Please do not laugh if it is him. I did not bother to look it up. Warren Buffett, I believe. Not putting sunscreen on their face, neck and hands. Oh, and spending their money on stupid shit. Sunscreen on hands. I do not think I have ever done that. Shh, from Australia, bro. Ah, makes sense. Not eating right and exercising. The heart attack you have at 50 doesn't just magically show up. Cardiovascular diseases from years of build up. While that is certainly true, and starting with this as early as possible is the absolute best, do not let it discourage you from starting at any time. Until I was in my early 40s I had never run more than 2k at a stretch, was desperately out of shape, overweight and just felt really prematurely old. I started running and cycling and eating somewhat better when I was about 43. I honestly feel healthier, younger and am definitely way fitter than when I was in my 20s. I also lost that excess weight and just have lots more energy now. A couple of months ago I ran my first marathon at age 56. The funny thing is, I hate running. I have been doing it for over a decade now, but I have never enjoyed it. Not for a single minute. But I know what it does to me, which keeps me going. I absolutely agree. There is an old saying, probably a Chinese one, I'm not sure, that the best moment for planting a tree was 20 years ago. The second best moment is right now. My mum also started running at the age of 54 for the first time in her life after a cancer and a shitton of medical issues. Now she is turning 60 and has ran quite a good number of half marathons and has never felt healthier. Running a marathon is a huge achievement at any age, let alone in your 50s. Keep on going, dude. There is also another quote that's etched on a clock tower near where I live that I really like. It is later than you think, but it is never too late. It is etched on the clock tower of a college for mature students, but I think it's really apt for daily use. Not getting enough sleep or not having a good sleep schedule. I do not think I have had a consistent or good sleep schedule for most of my life. If and when you can, because money and insurance, get a sleep study. I had terrible sleep patterns through my 20s. Did all the tricks you see online. Got a sleep study in my 30s and found 2 undiagnosed sleep disorders. It's a whole new world. You lines never be able to sort those things out on your own. Sleep makes all the difference. Wait. Sleep disorder is a thing. According to my mother, it is because I'm not making enough effort. No, but seriously, it is also important to note that it is normal for teens to have a sleep schedule that is a bit later than adults. But it does not mean you should not have a sleep schedule at all. Binge drinking. It is a very easy spiral to go down if you are not careful. Strong agree. It's amazing how many people become functional alcoholics without ever realizing it. Not making tiny changes and sticking to them. I know that I had an all or nothing attitude in my 20s. If I tried my hand at painting and my first few attempts were crap, I would drop it. If I tried saving money and saw how little it was, I would spend it. You have to do little things every day and just do not stop. It will add up in your 30s and you will be so grateful even later. The problem is many 20-year-olds think of 30 and above as not counting somehow. They cannot imagine not being a complete success in their 20s or not being in a perfect relationship in their 20s. But life goes on. Your 30s are freeing and you are in a whole different mental space from then on. Do not get desperate and stay with an awful person just because you are so old and unmarried at 29. Or make decisions that ignore the rest of your life. Do not quit studying or learning just cause you are out of college. If you want a career change, do not do an on-leave course or start working towards it because you will see a result 5 years from now. That 5 years will pass and you will wish you had done something. Just keep doing small things. It gets easier. Every day it gets a little easy, but you gotta do it. Every day, that's the hard part. But it does get easier. Wise baboon. Credit and debt. It's too easy to buy things you can't afford. Not saving enough money. Learning it too late in life. Wanna know something? I have the opposite problem. I do not spend enough. This means that I go work home, and have no real social life. Never dated. Never been to a concert. Never traveled. Everyone else my age is out there living in their primes. And I have not moved because I do not spend money. Sounds like a solvable problem. Just budget some money to waste every month year. As you get money you tend to take out credit to get nice things. A sudden change in your career can ruin your life for a while. Be careful about buying things you cannot pay for outright. Yup, I have got a friend who is a spender who thinks I'm rich when I'm anything but. I'm on minimum wage and he earns over 3 times what I earn. I have always just been fairly adverse to borrowing and subscriptions, while he will happily maximum out cards, spend every penny of his paycheck, just sign up to everything, have all the latest devices as they come out, and live in the most expensive place he can afford. If you doubled his pay he would still find out how to be broke. Too many people focus on all the things they can buy, when really the best thing about more money is security, which costs a grand total of not blowing all your cash all the time. I see the security of having at least a couple grand in my account as a thing I can buy. Honestly, the good feeling of having that safety net in my account is worth spending a couple grand for. Better than most anything else that money could buy. Treating their body like it's a rental. Look after it. You will be living in this body for many years to come. Don't burn out the clutch by 27 and live with the consequences for 60 more years. I wish I realized this. 28 overweight and now starting to feel like I'm getting old for the first time. It's weird how that feeling of invincibility you get when you're young can disappear overnight. Never too late. 62 here. Played soccer yesterday with my regular group of 30 and 40 somethings, but managed 3 credible shots on goal and played some killer defense plus I'lled 3 people all. The young guys hoop and holler when some 32-year-old gets smoked by grandpa. Lose the weight. Exercise. Get healthy. This has inspired me to go for a jog after work, but the reality is I may just have one less slice of pizza for dinner. Sticking to a career they hate because that's what they chose to do when they were 16, 18 years old. It is never too late to change your career path, and if you are not enjoying it now, do you think that will change in another 20, 30 years? But what are you supposed to do when you have a business degree and have only been teaching English in Japan and you're almost 30? The degree is worthless now. I was in exactly that scenario 5 years ago. I got a master's in teaching. There are transferable skills you will have from teaching in Japan. Me too. 8 years ago I finished a 5-year stint teaching in South Korea. Saved nearly 100k as a nest egg in SK. Spent 4 years upgrading my skills. Now I am a speech language pathologist in the US making decent money, and my skills are in high demand. I could potentially do this until I retire, or move into some sort of healthcare management position. Overall, I didn't feel that my time in Korea was a waste, because it gave me the capital to move to the next level of my career, and the competitive grad schools I applied to considered the experience interesting and relevant. Mistake getting comfortable in your current job, while also not making plans to increase your skills to qualify for the next role. Unless you have joined a generous company, do not assume your first job is going to really take care of you for years to come. This is not the 1950s where corporate culture rewards loyalty. Year on year they will instead continue to dump greater responsibility on you, but come compensation time, barely increase your pay more than the cost of living increase. Then they will justify it by saying you are at the arbitrary pay ceiling for your role. Do not be like me and become obsolete, making life scary and job hunting depressing it is daunting to recover from. Instead, 1-2 times a year, check online job postings and look for reasonable next step roles for yourself. To then identify any knowledge gaps for that role and actively work on learning what you need in order to fill the gap, even if that means learning it out of work hours. 3. Then apply for similar roles. You do not need to be 100% perfect fit. 80-90% fit is great. 4. Expect to not always win the job offers. Competition nowadays is fierce. Get comfortable in being knocked down, but getting up again. 5. Rejoice when you land a new role. Knowing you are doing well to avoid becoming stagnant. 6. Repeat steps 1, 5 at least every 2 years. Or not. And see how capitalism rewards a static employee. I check once a week and always will lol. Should be a habit. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.